Huangshan, city of Anhui province. This UNESCO World Heritage Site has been one of the nation's most popular tourist destinations for hundreds of years.
Hi, I'm Isabel Young, and this week on Travelogue we're here in Huangshan, yes, the beautiful yellow mountain. But instead of heading straight up the mountain, we're here to explore some rather off-the-beaten-track places with some locals who can show us all about how. Well, here we are at the foot of Huangshan Mountain. This is, of course, what the town is named after. You can see the weather isn't so great for mountain hiking today, but luckily there are loads of places around the foot to still discover. So we're going to see what else there is around this base. Besides the renowned Huangshan Mountain, the city itself has more on offer. Just half an hour's drive from downtown Huangshan City, the mysterious Chengkan village boasts the elegance of Huizhou-style residential architecture passed down from the Ming Dynasty. Well, here in Chengkan Ancient Village you'll find over 1,800 years of history. Watch out though, because inside here you'll find tiny little streets, hundreds and hundreds of them, rather like a maze, so kind of easy to get lost. Following the old stone paved paths, crossing these narrow streets, it seems that at one point you've travelled back to the old times. Although it has a long history, the village has maintained its original layout from about 1800 years ago. These symbolic Hui-style houses and clear streams make a peaceful dwelling for more than 700 households. Compared to Xidi and Hongcun villages, Chengkan is underdeveloped and not as well known, but it's a neat and clean village with fewer tourists and a more rural atmosphere. Now, within each of these ancient villages, the most important building to come to is this ancestral hall. We've come to the biggest one in the whole province, with over 3,300 square metres. This is over 400 years old. It's quite impressive. The Baolun Hall is a fine example of the beauty of Chengkan's architecture. The elaborate engravings of flowers and geometric patterns on the bluestone parapets remain defined throughout the ages. Walking through this dated town could easily take you back or make you recall ancient literature and art. If Chengkan village lets you see the quiet side of Huangshan, then this place could certainly stir you. Well, you might recognise some parts of this valley, and that is indeed because parts of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon were filmed here. Now, why is it called the Emerald Valley? Well, you can see that the water is extremely green and fresh. That's because of all the minerals that have come down from up there.
The Emerald Valley extends 6 kilometers at the foot of the Huangshan Mountain and is an hour's ride from downtown Huangshan City. Strewn up the terraced mountainside are glittering green pools, varying in shape and size. And a classic movie makes this place even more mesmerizing.
So this is where the most famous scene in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon takes place, where Zhang Ziyi and Chou Ranfan are fighting up here. You can see them flying through the air, splashing on the water, and then landing up on this rock right here.
Of course, any good action movie has its romantic touches, especially in a place like this.
Now, you might be interested to know that this place is also called Lover's Valley. Now, if you're coming here as a couple, don't forget to bring your own padlock to fasten here to show your love for the place, the surroundings, the beauty, and of course for each other.
As we've seen, Huangshan City has its quiet, active and romantic sides, but it also has a mysterious face. Even if you've come across grottos before, this handmade wonder in the eastern suburbs of Tunxi is certainly a stopping point.
So we've come here to the Huangshan Mystery Cave. Now the reason it's called that is because we know it was built roughly 1,700 years ago. Not quite sure when, not quite sure who by, or for what reason. Let's go and see if we can discover a bit more.
Throughout history, there is no recorded writing material about the Huangshan mysterious grottos. While some say it was used for soldiers to shelter or store food, others say it is an unfinished Mogao grotto in Anhui.
So you can see that this cave moves with the shape of the mountain. You've got ups, you've got downs, and you've got these wrinkles all along the ceiling and in the walls, so the echo is relatively quiet. What was that built for?
Chengkan village opens every day from 7 AM to 5 PM with tickets costing 80 RMB per person. The Emerald Valley opens daily from 7 AM to 5:30 PM with tickets costing 70 RMB per person. Remember, the best time to enjoy the valley is during rainy season. Huangshan Mysterious Grottos open from 8 AM to 5 PM, tickets costing 70 RMB per person.
Coming up next.
Unlike other old streets in China, Tunxi Old Street has a unique sound to it. Huangshan, city of Anhui province. This UNESCO World Heritage Site has been one of the nation's most popular tourist destinations for hundreds of years.
So we've come downtown at night to Huangshan Ancient Street. You can come here if you want to pick up a few souvenirs to take back to your friends back home, if you want to sample some of the local specialities, or if you just want to take a stroll around the shops. Obviously, I'm here to do all three of those.
Tunxi Old Street has been occupied by prospering Hui businessmen since way back in Song Dynasty. This 1.5-kilometer street has shops standing on both sides, featuring the local Anhui-style architecture. But unlike other old streets in China, this one has a unique sound to it.
Laban, 你在做什么？里面有什么东西？就是桂花，对吗？
各种坚果。
这个汤也要吹多久？15 分钟就行。为什么要抽那么多？那么长？ 吹芽。啊。
With such an interesting way of making a dessert, I couldn't leave without a try.
So we need to bash this out to make it thinner. I think the smell coming out of this is fantastic. I wish there was a smell-o-vision back home. Ready? 开始。说好了吗？还没。我要吹多长时间？好累啊。It's quite a workout. 好了。Okay, I'm going to try the fruits of our hard work here. Whew, still hot, fresh off the press. 我知道，谢谢。
很好吃啊。
是，很好吃。
要吧？
很烫啊，我要短一点。It's beautiful tasting. It's lovely and crispy on the outside and very soft on the inside, which is what all this bashing was about actually. It's trying to get all these peanuts a little bit softer on the inside. It's beautiful, look. Lovely and crispy. Now we've come to one of the most famous and oldest one-ton shops here on the Old Street. We're going to go inside because we're going to discover what the legend of Wang Yiqiao one-ton is all about. 小姐，我可以问一下，这个馄饨是最好的馄饨是哪个？
我们的馄饨有3种口味，有鸡汤、高汤和原味的。
OK。
对。最
好的呢？
因为我们代表的是原味的。
原味的。
最传统的馄饨。
OK。
我们馄饨是皮薄馅润，吃起来口感特别好。
你做那么快的要学多长时间？
这个一般不难，一般2把星期就可以做得出来。
真的？你可以教我一下吧？
可以的。现在可以开始了。
好的。
先示范一下给你看。
好的。
肉搞起来往里边卷，对折再对折就行了。
太快了，再做一遍。
拿到手掌心一捏就行了。
看起来很简单。
是很简单。
是很简单吗？
是很简单的。
Okay, so we're going to have a little taster from the legends themselves. Woo!
边上。
不是很容易。
对。
这里吗？
对，卷起来。再对折。对，拿手心一捏就行了。
就行吗？It's not going to fall out. It's a little parcel here. Okay, good. 我比你慢多啊。
你学吧。好，一捏就行了。
All about looking like a pro here, as you can see. 老师，你觉得我做的怎么样的？
做得很好，已经很棒了。才刚学嘛，已经很棒了。
你说错了。Okay, and just a couple of minutes later, they're going to be whacked in the boiler and try some. We're going to sample these slightly odd-shaped wonton that we've got here. That'll be my fault. Looks a bit like brains here. Obviously, we're not sampling gourmet flavours here. It's literally just minced pork inside a wonton. Very simple. They've been doing this for years and years, ever since the street opened. But nice winter treat, very refreshing. We're used to chou tofu, the smelly tofu in Shanghai, but we haven't yet come across mao tofu, which is the hairy tofu. Come take a look at this. This is the reason it's called hairy tofu. Look at that, it looks like it's growing mould.
Looking at these hairy little monsters, I couldn't help but think, are they really edible?
老板，这里是最有名的特产对吗？
毛豆腐。
毛豆腐。
臭豆腐吗？
为什么是毛的？这毛的东西是什么？
它有饲料、发酵，这个上头，这个一个盒子放在那里，有饲料发酵。
啊。 板，这个毛豆腐是一般的是怎么样吃啊？
毛豆腐是发酵的，发酵它长毛，长毛要7天才能长毛，要放辣椒，
辣椒，
啊，这个样子。
这个毛真的可以吃吗？
可以吃，
不危险啊？
不危险，你尝一个小就完了。
OK，
好吃。
谢谢谢谢。It's not bad. It's got quite a hard texture on the outside, as you might imagine from hairy tofu, but
它肉很嫩呐，
对对是很嫩的。
比臭豆腐肯定好吃一点。
Twinshi Old Street is located in downtown Huangshan City. Wooden mallet crisp candy costs 10 RMB per bag. Wang Yiqiao wonton charges from 7 RMB to 12 RMB per bowl. Hairy tofu costs just 4 RMB per box and tastes a little bit like the Asian answer of cheese. Coming up next, Tangmo village has been rated one of the must-see spots in Huangshan City, basically because inside the village lies the beautiful West Lake.
So besides the ancient villages all around Anhui province, you can also find these beautiful memorial arches. Now these were built about 420 years ago when the emperor would decide whether you deserved one or not. So if you did something which deserved praise, then you're allowed to build one of these, providing the whole village with a lot of pride.
After admiring the beauty and elegance of the memorial arch, it's time to explore the village. Perched at the foot of Mount Huangshan, Tangmo village has been rated one of the must-see spots in Huangshan City, basically because inside the village lies the beautiful West Lake.
So this is one of the 2 scenic spots here in Tangmo, and there's quite a good story behind this. So back at the beginning of the Qing dynasty, there was a man called Mr. Xu who lived here. Now unfortunately his mother was quite old and in bad health, but it was her last dream to see Hangzhou's West Lake before she died. Now unfortunately it was too far, it was inconvenient, so Mr. Xu, being a very wealthy man owning a lot of banks, built this little West Lake so that she could enjoy this until the end of her life.
Besides the small West Lake, inside the village you'll also find the Water Street. Upon entering the age-old pavilions, you can see streets paralleling winding rivers alongside Anhui-style residential houses scattered along both banks and some detailed bridges.
Well, this might look like a tea house, and it is, but it also double functions up as a bridge. Now this bridge is not any old bridge, it's actually a corridor bridge, which is an ancient and rare form of bridge, and one of the few remaining ones left here. For over 300 years of history, this bridge is the most famous one here on Water Street.
Maintaining its harmonious existence with nature through many dynasties, Tangmo village has done well to avoid too much commercial intrusion. Residents here seem to be living in both a peaceful and idyllic environment that also includes some of the best scenic landscapes around. Well, as my trip in Huangshan has almost wound to an end, I returned to the old street to pick up some local souvenirs for my friends back home.
Now one souvenir you might want to bring back for your friends is the calligraphy brush. Now this was actually created right here in Huangshan. They create all sorts of shapes and sizes, still producing some of the best quality brushes in the whole of China. From this little baby to this giant one. I think I'll be taking this one back home to my friends.
And one last treat. If you come to Huangshan in February, you can't miss the Dragon and Lion dance performances in honor of the Long Tai To Festival. Every year, local residents come together to celebrate this traditional holiday, wishing for plenty of rain and a promising new year.
So we're just having a quick chat with one of the audience, Zhou Ming. Zhou Ming, 这里的活动有什么意思？
这里特别有意思，今年呢又是龙年，而且呢又是这个2月2龙抬头。
对，我看到很多龙。
对对对，而且呢我们这边有一个习俗，2月2龙抬头呢要组织这些大型的游龙，所有的我们这个区县的这些龙呢都集中在这儿。展示给所有的观众，我们的生活也跟龙一样的，这个越过越腾飞，越过越好，越过越幸福。
If you want to catch this dramatic performance, check with the Huangshan Tourism Bureau ahead of schedule for the dates that these children-friendly fire breathers will arrive.
I'm Isabel Young. Thank you for watching Travelogue. We'll see you next time when we enjoy another fabulous destination.